You know, you gotta drink water to hydrate. But anyway, I was working on this beat here, and I just wanted to talk about something that I think Logic has an issue that I've known to be an issue for a while, and I thought that they fixed it, but it's a problem if you look at it on the surface level, but I think it's more of an advantage if you look further into it, right? So the problem with Logic is that, you know, when you're composing drums, like for me coming from FL Studio, composing drums is super easy, right? FL Studio is amazing when it comes to drums. You just like browse, just like here on the browser, and you just send to the channel rack, and then you just start making drums, boom, 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 boom. You've got your drum track and everything is going well. But here in Logic, you kind of, there's so many ways you can, you know, create drums, but it feels so slow because you have to either drag everything onto, like if I want to add a kick right here, like I did add a kick here, which is this kick right here, right? So what I did with this kick here is I'm using the step sequencer that it has here, so I can just, you know, put in my kicks here, nice and simple, and then that's it. But now I have to keep going, you know, with each sample that I want to add. Like let's say I want to add this next sample, I want to add the sample here. I cannot use the same channel here, the same step sequencer here. I now have to load it on its own quick sampler, and then I have to come in here, and then I have to create a new pattern region, and then, you know, and then I start filling, you know, creating my drum groove. So coming from FL Studio, that's kind of an issue, right? So let me just delete that. That's kind of a problem, of which then you can say that, okay, X, another way you could do this that might be an issue is that you can maybe load up a drum machine designer, right? I can do this, and then I can start doing that. So you can see that I loaded up this percussion sound right here. It's right here, it's loaded. So now if I come here and I create a pattern region, boom, you can see that there's my percussion, right? So I can go ahead and do that and start to create a groove. Let me just make sure that I am solo. Like that, that's cool, right? So then if I want to add other stuff like other samples, I can maybe pick something else, like let me pick this and drop it there. But now look what happens. It doesn't create a new channel for me to add steps to, which is super weird, which is a problem. I don't know why it doesn't do that. Or maybe there's a way that you know, where you can get it to do that I just don't know, but it doesn't do that, which is so infuriating. So now it leads me to creating a whole new channel and then using the quick sampler. That's the way that I found out that this is the problem that Logic Pro has, that I think if they fix this one problem so that you can just drag and have everything, or even just drag it on here like this. If I could just pick this up and just drag it here, and then it creates another lane right there, I think that would be like amazing. I know it's kind of similar, like almost like they're copying FL Studio, but for me I think that would be a game changer when it comes to making drums in Logic. But the superpower that I was talking about, like the advantage of this kind of workflow that I was gonna say, is that for me, I'm now finding out that not making drums in the way that I'm used to in FL Studio, it means that if I'm adding all these samples like one by one in my project, it helps me like focus in and give this one sample enough time and enough attention, you know, and not just add a sample and then just quickly do the workflow and quickly program drums and then just move on. But what I'm doing is that with each sound, I'm intentional about it. I'm adding it in, and then I really sit there to really sort out everything before I move on to the next. So I feel like that's kind of an advantage. So if I want to throw in something like this sound here, I can just, you know, throw it in the quick sampler, like boom, I can see it there, and immediately the first thing it opens is that it opens the quick sampler. So right here, what I do first is I just trim the sample, boom, I can trim it, and then I can just, you know, trim it, and then there's other like stuff you can adjust there, the filter, the pitch, the LFO, and the amp. So you can work with that, and then you can close it, right, if you're fine with that and all that. So you can even use your keyboard to preview the sound that you loaded before you even start to program it. And then I can come here, create pattern region, And the volume is just right here on the side, so I can just play around with the volumes like that, you know, just the levels just to do that. So I think that's a superpower. It allows you, this workflow allows you to kind of focus in on the sounds and not just throw them in without also, you know, focusing on them and tweaking them, all that. Because I think in FL Studio, what you just do is you're just throwing in sounds and you're just piling in all these sounds, but you're not also taking your time to really fine tune them and do more with them. Let me also throw in a new one here. Boom, there it is. If I want to sample it, I just play like this and then I create the pattern region. So I'm more intentional. So this is the problem that Logic has, which I think that Apple should maybe try and find a way, maybe in further updates, to, you know, just add this function where you can, you know, just kind of, you know, borrow from FL Studio. Just borrow that, bro, so that, you know, composing drum grooves can be super quick, you know, from, you know, just from your browser. From over here, you just pick your drums and then you just throw them in there, you know, and then you just get to working and then worry about, you know, tweaking the sounds later. Of this way, you can also find it as a positive, not that it's, you know, a negative. Because for me, I try not to look at everything as a inherently negative thing, but I try to find the positive in the thing. So I find that, you know, it's also not a problem for me to drop a sample in and then I see the controls of the sample and then I tweak the sample, you know, a little bit more, so that I'm not just picking a sound. Like, let's say if I pick a sound like this here and then I drop it here like that, there's no way you're gonna ignore this. At least I can play around with it a little bit more and design it a little bit more, instead of just me taking the sample and then just using it as it is. So I think this is also a superpower when it comes to composition, because now you are, you know, you're invited by this window to change the sound itself and tweak it and play around with it, you know, and do so much more. You can even like load up the filter if you want to, you know, and pitch it and do all sorts of things just to play around with it. So it's a problem, and also it's a superpower that I think Logic Pro has. But I just wish that if you don't want to do this, if you want a whole other workflow like the FL Studio workflow, I really hope that they can add this into their future updates, so that we can be able to just drag and drop stuff into one channel, just like we do on the channel rack in FL Studio. I think that would be super cool, because this is the one problem that a lot of other producers stay away from Logic, because they're like, you know, it's difficult to compose drums because it's not quick enough, because people want to make music quick and all of that. So I think this is a problem that I think they need to fix, of which for me, I have time. I don't really worry. I'm not in a rush anymore to create music, so I don't mind taking my time with each and every sound to make sure that the sound is perfect before I move on to the next sound, instead of just piling sounds and then I have a drum groove that I'm not happy with. Then I now have to go with each and every sound to try and tweak it to make sure that it sounds good. Yo, this track is coming along. I really like what I made here. Let me know what you think down below. Let me know what you think about this topic. I just thought I wanted to share this because I think for me, Logic has been amazing, but this is kind of the issue that I've been facing, and I just wanted to share it with you guys, just so you can kind of know, you know, the honest truth about Logic. Because some people look at me using Logic and they think everything is all gravy, but it does have its own problems. Just like anything, no product is ever perfect. But anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. All these samples that I'm using that are over here are linked down below. You can support the channel, because this channel doesn't have sponsors. I rarely get sponsors, and the CPM on my videos, they are horrible. I would really appreciate the support. You can buy some of my sample packs. It will really help me to continue to make these videos, or even just drop a comment on what's your process and just say something, or just say hi, hello, what's good. I would really appreciate it. It will encourage me to keep coming here and, you know, just chatting with you guys. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. I'm X and I'm out. Peace.